Hello and welcome! We are doing today a Microsoft introductory session, and we are using for this example from the construction industry. I let you now just fly for a few minutes. With those impressive images from a building site. Just keep up your breath and you will see, you will now jump and see that building from the top of the sky. So it's just now look down and it's a fantastic moment. I'm Christian from Vision 6D and I welcome you to that session. The chat is open. Anytime you can now ask questions. This is the role of those sessions, which are like that, interactive, that gives you the opportunity to ask questions. Another thing that I would like is first of all to thank all those people that follow me, that permit this channel to exist. It's a fantastic adventure, and I would like also to thank the people that I know through internet, which are my customers, that with whom I do sessions online for either project management or MS project. Those people, they are located south of France, in Paris, Switzerland, Germany. I had some people in the UK and also people in Dubai, for example, and many others that I won't mention. So to all those people, I must say that it is a fantastic human experience to have those one-on-one sessions, and I think everyone will agree that it was really efficient. They really learned in a fast way. So those sessions, they are possible from anywhere in the world. Just have to pick up a session with me. We'll define a time. Of course, those sessions are not free, which is normal. And you are welcome to any of those sessions. So back to what we are going to do today. We are going to use an example from the construction sector to build everything, all the necessary planning. Of course, in a session like that, what we will do, it's an aerial overview of the project. It's more the macro planning, but we will have in the future additional session, and we will dig deeper into planning for construction. Of course, all the elements that we are going to learn, they pertain to the Microsoft project environment, and they will be useful to any project you are going to do. I wanted to bring with those sessions something which is more oriented toward construction sector. I need to bend down from time to time to let you see and change the surrounding behind me. So as I said, construction is a special environment where planning is really something critical, because first of all, the amounts of money involved in that kind of project is quickly going up from several hundred euros to several hundred million euros to up to billions for certain buildings. So this is the beginning, is a first session in which we will start to do things concerning construction planning. For that, I will now use here an example. We are going to create the diagram that you see on my side. And that diagram is a presentation with MS Project. You have the Gantt chart that you can recognize with all those blue bars that you see on my right. And beneath that one, you see a table. That table, it's where we define all the tasks. On top of that, you don't see it so well, it's the timeline. I'm going to sit and to take this directly into MS Project. A good way to follow this tutorial is to sit down, to have MS Project, and to do as I do. So once again, the chat is open. You can ask questions regarding the session, of course, and I will attempt to answer. Maybe a first thing that I forgot. Well, I'll come back later to this. I'll come back later. So let me just switch to MS Project. Yes. So we are now into the MS Project world. And what you see is an opened project with MS Project. What I was saying, it's here is the table part. It's something that is similar to Excel. We must understand that MS Project is like a huge Excel tables with a lot of columns, a lot of different information into this. Here you see the Gantt chart. You will see that there are different information that is contained in the Gantt chart. Even the colors are having some meaning. And here on top up, you see better now what is called the timeline. The timeline is something that is really interesting because with the timeline, I use it a lot when I have steering committees. Steering committees are those committees that manage a project where you meet stakeholders. Stakeholders are all the people involved into the project or concerned by the project. For example, you do a project for a customer, your customer is a stakeholder. When you are building a house, you have local authorities that are also giving you licenses or work permits to do the work. Those authorities, they are also stakeholders, as are the neighbors, for example, because you can have some issues with the neighbors. So all those people or organizations are stakeholders. So what I was saying, it's when I present the project to stakeholders, the timeline is really something that I use a lot. With the timeline, which is here, for example, I can tell you that this project has started once we made that decision to start the project. So it's a business decision, and you see here that decision is marked in red. This project has started with a part which is initiation. It's when we are researching all the information, we get a first idea of what the budget could be, where we want to do this. So these are parts of what I call initiation, and in any kind of project you will have an initiation step in the beginning. After that, there is the conception of the building. This is the next step in which there is the design, and this will start once there is a decision for the proposal. For example, here in that case, we'll be in the position of an architect. The architect decides to compete for that proposal, and he makes a proposal. So this is the start of his work of conception. And here, at the end of that blue part, starts the construction here in orange. And the construction part started because there is a decision here by some constructor to answer the request for proposal. And of course that constructor has won it and is doing the construction work here. And you see at the end there is a handover to the customer, and there is in the end a closing meeting. So with that, I explained to you the way this project is going to happen. That project is starting today, since we are creating this together. Of course, the planning we should maybe shift it a bit, but let's admit that it will start today, and it's going to end and be delivered by January, the beginning of January next year. No, 24. So we'll need several years for that. So this is the idea for that building you see here. And now, so we see those different parts. Here up is a part which is the ribbon that you know from the office suite. So that ribbon is composed here of different parts. You see tasks, resources, you see reports, you see project here. So we are going to discover some of them in that introductory class. So once again, to all that follow that session, you are welcome. For me, it's a pleasure to see you. It's the opportunity also sometimes to just say, hello, Christian, I'm from such and such country. So this is really nice and really appreciated. So now we have a general overview of MS Project. This is the goal to what we want to arrive, to achieve within this session. So what I will now do is that I will start afresh. I will keep that file open because I can't remember all the activities I have defined here. So I will need from time to time to copy paste them. But now you can really consider that you don't need any knowledge of MS Project so far to be able to start. But you should be able by the end of the session to have created something like that. So for this I will now go here in the back office, which is the same as the rest of Microsoft Office suites like Word, Excel and others. You see here that I can create a project. Here I will create a blank project. You see that in project management there are two big ways to manage project. It's either a predictive way. It means that we know what will happen exactly in the project. This is what we call predictive and is exactly the case and needed for most of the construction types of projects. Where, on the contrary, if you are in the software development, you will work more with agile methodologies. So Microsoft Project allows you to manage a project in the predictive way. It's what is called waterfall and is better or more known under the waterfall name. For me, I like to use the predictive concept. and the other one, which is the agile. I'm going to choose a blank project. Like that, we start afresh. Here below you see that I have already a lot of projects that I created. Here, the extension are MPP. This is the characteristic extension for Microsoft project files. So you can copy those files and you can share those files, and this is the way, for example, to exchange a plan. So for me, I will now start with a fresh environment here, and you see that we find different columns. The first one, which is here in the middle, it's the column where we are going to put the task name or the activity name. Then we have duration, how long is the task going to last, and then start date, finish date, and then predecessors are elements in which we say is that task depending on the end of another task. So this will come back, and a task can also have a resource. A resource can be somebody doing the task, it can also be an engine, a machine, it can be material. For example, in the construction you need essentially steel and concrete. So these are resources, and there will be many different resources because there are different types of concrete, different types of steel. So now once we have this, so let me start with the first thing that is important. We will go into the options. We go into the options because there is one trick that can really bother us. It's if I go here up on schedule, you see here we have the time. So if you have opened your own version of MS Project, you might have different values. For example, the work per day, the number of hours per day, for me they are 8 hours. I know that there are many people where by default the number of hours per day are 7. And then consequently, the number of hours per week aren't, like me, 40, but are 35. Okay? So if you don't pay attention to this and you move ahead with your project, there might be situation where you see that MS Project is calculating your task that you want to have for one day. It's going to calculate it for one day and a bit more, or the opposite, a bit less than a day. Okay? So this is when you started to work with one setting here, one set of defined hours here, and during the proceeding you noticed that it's not correct, and you came back and you changed it. So MS Project didn't interpret for you all the information you had already keyed in, he's just adjusting. So if you don't have many tasks, well, the corrections are quite easy. But if you have a lot of tasks, a lot of relations about the tasks, it will be really difficult, and sometimes I can just say to people, listen, we start afresh, we copy and paste the information we have, like that we don't have all those issues. So this is one really key element when you start with MS Project. So you see here up there is also another element. This is more convenience. Some countries, they consider that the week starts, the first day of the week is the Sunday. For me, the first day of the week is Monday. So this is something I have here to adapt. After that, here I think, yes, in display, I don't know if many of you want to work with Swiss francs. I will, for this session, go down and select euros. So this you can always do it afterwards. But if you said you have 1,000 Swiss francs and you move to euros, it's not going to make 1,100. No, the opposite. If you have 1,000 euros and you move to Swiss francs, it's not going to make 1,100 Swiss francs. It doesn't have any exchange rate included into MS Project. So this is it. Maybe another thing that I need from time to time, it's if I need to change the language. It means that here up, you see it's in English. When I give the lessons or sessions in French, I move here and I move this to French. It's the same for all the Office suite. So far so good. We haven't keyed in anything into this project, but I'm going now quickly to copy some of the tasks that I had in the other project. So to copy tasks, it's like in Excel. I copy the cells and you see that I can switch from one project to the other one. And I'm simply coming here on the bar and like Excel, I insert tasks. So you see that I have here inserted some tasks. So this is the way to insert tasks in MS Project. And I was saying that we were in the part which is called initiation of the project. So we are really in the start of the project. It's when we are thinking all the possibilities, we are looking at all the possible alternatives, and it's also when we will decide whether we go or we don't go into this project. So this is called initiation. So I will add here up a task. And for this, you saw that it's like on any Excel sheet, you go on the side, you go and you look for insert a task. And I inserted a task. So once this is done, I will give a name to that task. This task, I will call it initiation. This is the first task that I have here. So now a task. If you go into what is here, information, you will get a lot of information about the task. Those information are some of the elements that we'll key in through the columns, the cells that we have here, but we can also enter them here directly. So this is not what I'm going to do, but I want you to be aware that there is the information for the task information. So I'm just going to say OK to this. Another way to get there is simply to double click on the cell. I was too slow in double clicking. Now, I was fast enough. So thank you all to those that follow. I'm really happy to see that people are following. So here is initiation. So I said that in this project we were in the position that we had first a business decision. So this is the first activity that was done. Then there was a time where we studied different alternatives and we chose one. And after this there is what we call a decision point. A decision point, it's where we decide whether we want to move ahead or not in this project. It's what I call here a go, no-go decision. After that, I will now enlarge that we can see it better. We are in need of somebody doing the design of the building. To do the design, we need an architect, we need engineers, maybe it's an architect office and they have engineering at the same office. What we will do is that we will perform a request for proposal, an RFP, for developing the building or designing the building. So it's what I named here, develop, design, RFP documentation. It's all the documentation that is necessary that I can do an RFP to find designers in general. And after that, we will issue that request for proposal. So with that, we've set a certain number of tasks, and all those tasks, they will be part of the phase that I'm calling initiation. So for that, I will say that all those tasks, they are part of initiation, and for this I will use indentation. And I'm coming here up, so I have task. And you see here we have some fancy arrows, diagrams, and here it says ident a task. So I could take task after task to ident them. So I'm going to do it for the task number 2, for example. I ident it like that. You see that this task is part of initiation. If now I come on this small triangle in front of initiation and I click it, it will compact what is under the initiation level. So I'm reopening it, and now I'm showing you the faster way to do that. All those tasks now are going to be idented under initiation. So I'm doing this here. You see, we have this that is idented, and now to check it, I can simply come on the triangle and everything is under initiation. So with that, I have inserted now some tasks, you see, into MS Project. For the moment, what is concerning duration, what is concerning the start dates, end dates, I haven't entered anything. So I will now look into those things, and for that I will now go again to the other project, which I need to see to make sure that I'm copying the right durations. So I'm just going here. I could key in the durations. So a duration, you enter it by keying a number, and it can be a number of days, a number of months. MS Project is able to go down to an hour, minutes, or even seconds. So if you are in a totally different project, there are projects where it's the timing at the minute that is important in the planning. So yes, you can do those things. So here I'm keying simply inside, well, I'm keying it in the wrong place. It's the study of the different alternatives that lasted 60 days. So I can simply key in 60 and the shortcut D for days, and you will see that immediately here I have the first activity in the Gantt chart. That activity is here in blue. You see that whenever I hover over, there are some additional information that counts. I can move it you see I can slide it here on the side, meaning that maybe I want it to start by the beginning of July. Let's I took it in the wrong way. Let me take it correctly. No, once again. Yeah, that's it. So it's exactly this that is important to understand. Depending on the way you click on the bar, there are different events, but doesn't matter. I just want to show you that you can move a task quite smoothly simply by dragging it. So you see that I have here my 60 days, and MS Project has brought in a start date and a finish date. So if I go back now with Ctrl Z to where it was in the beginning, well, I went one step too far, so I am keying it again, 60 days here for study of an alternative. You see that MS Project is taking 2 days as the start date. This is what it is. So this is the way MS Project proceeds when you are entering information. So don't worry, you could say, okay, I want to move to the real date when I want my project to start. Yes, you can do that. Or you can in the beginning decide that you leave it as such, and we'll see later on that you can move the complete project to an adequate start date. So I will now go down to develop design. Let me just quickly look what I had as value for this. Okay, I remember now. Develop design, we needed 40 days to do that. So about the days, MS Project is always considering your week as a 5-week work time. So a month is 20 days, and of course 2 months 40 days, 3 months 60 days. So this is the way that it is considered. Those that would like to work over weekends, you can. For this, there are what we call special calendars. We won't enter into this, and there are already on my YouTube channel video explanations about how to deal with calendars. So if this is important to you right now, you can swap and go and look at this. I would like to thank you again, those people that participate. For me, it's a pleasure. The chat is open and you can ask questions. So I've set here 2 tasks, 2 activities which are part of initiation. Once again, let's understand that in this project, it's really a high overview of a project in which we build a building. So those 2 tasks, they have certain duration. A duration is something that is difficult to understand because it's from the start to an end of a work. It doesn't mean that it's really, for example, when you say here 60 days, it's the task started and ended 60 days after. But it doesn't mean that you really worked 60 days during that interval of time. You worked something, but we know it started at one point, it ended, and the difference in between are 60 days. This is something that will make people a bit mixed up, but I have to say it. So another thing that I haven't entered here is the business decision to start the project. A decision, it's not really something that takes time. It doesn't really have a duration. But I want to have it marked into the Gantt chart. So for this, I'm going to say that this is a milestone and I want to mark in my diagram that milestone. To do that, I'm simply saying that the duration is 0 day. And you will see that the 0 day came in here, and in the diagram which is here, you see that we have here the date of today, and we have a small element, a diamond here, which appeared, and this is making the distinction between what is a milestone to what is an activity with a certain duration. So then we have that decision that is here, then we work for 60 days on the pre-study or alternatives. We find a place where to create the building, and then we see more or less how much it's going to cost, and we say, okay, we go further into the steps of this project. We are now taking the decision to move ahead. So it's again a decision. I think you already got it. It's a 0 day event, and it is a milestone that I want to mark. So I have that milestone that is now marked, and you see here down we went into we are making a request for proposal to any designers, be they architect, engineer office, combination of the two, small shops, big shops. We are performing a request for proposal for the conception stage of our project in which we want to build, to create a building. So once we are complete with the documentation, we can then perform the request for proposal. And this, again, here is a milestone. What's wrong? Oh, okay. So, MS Project noticed that I was repeating my tasks, so it's telling me that it could help me to go faster, but it's not what I want to do here. So, as you see here, we have now several activities. They are all part of initiation. They all have a certain duration. Now, what I'm going to do here, you see, I need to talk to you about this first column. Tasks, they have two types. Either they can be manual inserted, and this is the default that is taken here by the way I entered the information. There is another possibility, which is here, which I can simply select like that by saying that the task is auto-scheduled. So what is the difference between manual and auto-schedule? I will start with auto-schedule, which is the easiest. It means that when we say that a task is auto-scheduled, we give the possibility to MS Project itself to place the activities into the schedule. So I prefer to work that way. This is right, this is right. But there isn't a better choice or a worse choice. Those two ways to work need to be understood. And in most plannings, you will have a mix of the two. For example, let's say that we take a business decision here. So it says it's the 23rd of June, which is today. And then after there will be the study. So we leave it as such for the moment. What I want to do is to introduce you now to links between tasks. So we say here we have the business decision, and after that we do the study of the alternative. So we are going to say that we need first to take that business decision before to start the study of the alternatives. So we are going to say that there is a relation between the study of alternatives and the business decision. We need first the business decision before to start the study. And for this we are going to say that we need first to finish the task 2 before to start the task 3. And this we are going to say into task 3 that its predecessor is task 2. So I'm doing this, I came here on the arrow, I selected the preceding task, and now I can get out, and you will see that the number of the predecessor has come into this column, and here on the Gantt diagram you see that I have a small arrow. We see that we don't see everything, but for the moment there is a small arrow here up, and this is the way it shows a relation between two tasks. So what says this arrow? It says that you need first to finish, you need to make your decision before to start the study. So this is simply done in that way. So once we've done the study, you agree that then we can decide whether we want to move ahead with the project or not. This is what also we call a gate decision. So I'm simply going to say that for this we need first to make sure that the study has been finished. So it's again a finish to start relation between the two tasks. And you see that it disappeared somewhere, something happened, it put me here at the number 3, which is absolutely correct, but I would like to see the end of my project. For this I go into view here, you see, and this is an important button, mark it, because I know that people will want to come back to this. You see, you can view the entire project. So with that, I see the entire project. The other way to do it is the sliding bar that you have down. With that, you could slide to the position you would like to have. And I will disappear, but be aware I'm still here. You have here down also the possibility to move and to zoom in and out of the Gantt chart part. I'm going back, and you see that you have also here the possibility to zoom out, zoom in. So these are the different possibilities that you have. And now I have done this, so you see that we have a first milestone, then we have the duration here of the study, and then we have the milestone of the go, no-go project. So what do you think? Shall we go? Shall we stop this project? Okay, I hear you say, but come on, we have the money, we've secured the thing, we have the place, we need to build, we need to find that architect that will make us our dream building. Right! So, we go now and into the develop the design, and here again you agree that we will prepare the documentation only if we have the go decision. So for that I think you got it, and I will simply say that the predecessor here is the go decision. So again, you see something happened, the task was shifted, so I will once again come here up into view entire project, I click it, and it happened, and I can see now that I got my complete two tasks with their relations, and I see my milestones. So this is really done. And there is a last milestone here down, the fact that we now distribute the request for proposal. You can get them, you can download them. So I will here also come and say that this is now here following task 5. And we have now, you see, for the first time, something that is here, that is cascaded, and it's why I was saying that this type of project is predictive. It follows a waterfall with the different elements following one another. So far we are now good. And let's admit now that this task, and I'm going to try it with you, we want to move it backwards, meaning in time, moving it in time, that it starts on the 1st of July. So I will move it. It has moved. And you see here, something is strange. I thought that the other tasks here, they would move also. Come on, I said the relation is between them. It's only when this study of alternative is done that we can take a decision. Here, MS Project is showing me something different. So what's happening? Of course, you know that I have the answer, but what's happening, because it doesn't correspond to what I expect. So, what is here happening? It's that we are working in a manual way. When you work in the manual way, manual mode, the dates are like if you wrote them and hardened them for MS Project. You are telling them what I'm putting as dates, you cannot move them anymore. Okay? So this is what is happening. Sometimes this is interesting, some other times you don't want to have this. So the solution to our situation, of course, I think you got it, it's move to automatic mode. Exactly, we are going to move to automatic mode. So I'm going to come here and to say I move to auto schedule. And here is interesting because you see different color, and this is to remind you that this task here, for example, is manually scheduled, while that one here is automatically scheduled. So here we have a simple example, but in the future it will become more complex. On your own projects it will also be more complex. So be aware that when you do changes, you need to pay attention to manual tasks, because there might be things that happen that do not correspond anymore to the reality you want. So a manually scheduled task, it's really something you know you want it during that time period. For example, you are organizing an event, a training, a 2-day training from the 15th of July to the 16th. But this depends on some preceding tasks. Of course, that if the preceding tasks are shifted, you don't want the training to be shifted because you've booked the room, you've booked the facility, you've booked the trainers for that day, and you already have a lot of subscribed people that said they come and they have booked that date. So you should better have the date of the training activity defined as something manual in your planning, where the other tasks can be automatic. But we'll see those things. So what we see here is that you can say that here it has correctly moved. You see, our go, no-go decision is now set to the 15th of September. So in this project, what can you say? You can say that we need 60 days to do the study. Those 60 days, once they are done, at earliest, we can make a decision by the 15th of September. Of course, if now we are delayed in our study, we won't be able to make any decision. So, at that date, I want to say. So with this, you see the difference. I'm making you aware. When I started with MS Project, nobody made me aware of this, or nobody made me understand it. So it's afterwards that I started to do things manually, then I had issues, then I understood that by being automatic it was shifting me, I didn't have any more problem. Till one day I had one event that was scheduled automatically, I shifted on things and it was moved ahead. So with this, of course, I thought there is something wrong here, I need to understand. So hopefully you got it, and I think you got it. So I would like to thank all the people that participate. If you are engineers, architects, people working in the civil construction industry or state organization, or even any software developer that follows, and all the people from IT, networking, hospitality, facility, medical systems, medical care, insurances, administrations, you are all welcome. And with those sessions, I'm just also greeting the people that follow with me one-on-one sessions on project management and on MS Project, because these are really ways to learn really efficiently MS Project. So, and as well, agile methodologies and project management. So, we are now going to say that the following tasks here, they are also all auto-scheduled. And you see that here, it's a bit small, I agree, but you can pick the lower part, if I manage, maybe, and you could pull down, and it will bring the change, the same change to all the parts, okay? So, let's look now if I'm right. So, if I'm going to say that here, instead of 60 days, we are moving this because we need 70 days. Is the date of the 14th of September going to move? Let's see. Yes, it moved. Okay, so this is the effect of automatic scheduling. It means that now, when you take more time for certain tasks, everything that is relative to that task, because we have links, we have dependency links, will be moved accordingly. Okay? So I'm going back with Control Z to have it on 60 days, and you see that the opposite is right too. It can also like that come back. If there are questions relative to what I'm showing, do not hesitate. So now we've done all this part, which is initiation here. I will undo a part of what I did. It's the definition here of the predecessors. I will undo this. Like that, we have automatic tasks, but no links between them. And I'm going to show you a fast way to do that. And you can see that here into tasks, I had to go onto tasks, and here I can link a certain number of tasks among one another. They will be following a sequential order. So this is exactly the situation that I have here. I have from task 2 to task 6, one following after the other one. So I can select them and come here up on the link the selected tasks, and I'm going to do that. And you see that immediately they were linked together. So what I want to show with this is that when you know that you have a group of tasks that are sequentially following one another, this is a really fast way to do it. So with that now, I have initiation here with defined tasks, with durations. We have dates already in place for our milestones. And I've shown you that you can go here and ident all that under initiation. So any question is here welcome into that session. To remember, I'm providing also online trainings that can be followed. And now, what I'm going to do is that initiation is fine. I would like to have it here up on the timeline. Can we already use the timeline? Yes, I know some who are eager to learn, and it's true, it's right. So, for example, what would I like to see on the timeline? For example, I would like to see let's start with the business decision. I would like to have that milestone because it's an important one. It's really the moment, yeah, we decided that it was worth investing in the business sense, so we decided to study different alternatives. So I want to have this on the timeline. So I go simply right-clicking onto the task, and I go down here, and you see I can add it to the timeline. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to enlarge a bit the timeline. Okay, you might be in a situation where you don't see the timeline. This is maybe the case. Let me just do a bit of cosmetic here, that we see that we have added something to that timeline. And I can come here to the view, and you see here you have a checkbox about the timeline. If you need space to see more your tasks, you can uncheck this. And if it's the opposite, you want to see the timeline and you don't see it, just check it and you will see it. Okay? So let me now do a bit of change. Here I will have this bold and change the color. Like that I am dealing with the timeline. You see that when I selected inside of the timeline, here on the ribbon it changed. All the buttons are now relative to the timeline. This is a way to work. It means that the formatting is now corresponding to the timeline. So I can here go back into the tasks, and you see that I have here again the buttons or ribbon that I had before. One thing, we will be able to explore other views. There are many views in MS Project, so you can go down. Maybe that in your environment you have already a pre-selection of views. Sometimes it happens. If it's not the case, you go on to more views here, and I will, for example, select here the resource sheet. You see it's here, and I say apply. The resource sheet is the sheet on which I will define the resources that I'm going to use into the project. So I'm going to say here apply. Just to show you another view, it comes here, and here I can define different resources. For example, I could say there is the owner, that is a resource, we could have an architect. These are examples of resources. Those resources are of type work. We will see, I don't think today, but there are several types of resources to use in a project. In construction project, it's really important to understand all those three different kinds of resources, and we will, of course, dig into this into later sessions. What I wanted to show you with this is that you have different views. You went away from the view of the Gantt chart, and you can always come back to the Gantt chart here. You have on the file the button of the Gantt chart. Clicking on this will bring you back to the Gantt chart. Okay? Another point that I think that is not really important in the beginning, because I lived without it for a long time, but it's good to know, because I'm glad that I know it, and I would have loved to know it way earlier. It's that you can change the table. Okay? You could, for example, here select, I will go into the schedule table. So you see that here the columns, they have changed. It's only the part which is the table that has changed. We have start finish like we had before, but you see that we have two new columns: late start, late finish, free slack. What's that? Hey, those that know a lot about project management, at least it tells them something. And some that are really into project management, they are able to say, oh, this is the latest date I can start that task to make sure I'm able to finish the project on time. And the other date, it's the latest date I can finish the activity to make sure I can finish on time the project. Okay, so these are things that we will look into the future, but what I wanted to show you, it's that those tables, you can change them, and the one we are looking into right now is the one called entry. So we are looking into the entry table. So, of course, questions can be asked, and I enjoy any interaction. That's why also we have those sessions, and no question is stupid. I had also to start, and it's by asking that we learn, and it's by making mistakes that we learn. Okay, so here we are into this project. It's the initiation part. What I would like to see here on the timeline, it's that initiation part. I don't want to see the detail, but I want to know when are we going to be out of that initiation. So I can also come here onto initiation, and I could do right click and add it to the timeline. Okay, you can do it, it will work, you get the result we want. I'm just going to show it in a different way, with the result being absolutely the same. It's simply to have you now learn that you can come into information, and any task you can decide to display it on the timeline directly from the summary task information. So I'm going to say here, okay. And you see that we have here all our initiation that is placed as a bar here into our diagram. What I want now to do is also to show that go, no-go decision into the timeline. I think you already have it. Right click on it, Christian, and add it to the timeline. It's so simple. And I'm going to change the color because I like when events are marked like that. And you see, you can already explain certain things with this, but before that I want also to have the possibility to answer the question that is, when is the RFP going to be issued? And for that I'm simply going to add it also to the timeline. So I'm going to enter it a bit that we can see it better. Once again, I like red and colored, so you see that we have this here. So we can say that if our project starts by today, let's say, and that we make a decision by mid-September, then the request for proposal for the design can be out by the 9th of November. So if you need just to communicate those points into a steering committee, this is the way to go. So you see that in the steering committee, if you start to come with a Gantt chart to show things, unless it's really something specific and that this would be the right way to do it, the timeline is here your best communication friend. The timeline, you will see that you can export it, you can copy it, for example, for email, you can copy it for a presentation and copy paste into PowerPoint, for example. This is the way I go with my presentations. I do extracts from the timeline, paste it into PowerPoint presentations, and it's this that I present when I have board meetings, steering committees, or that I meet any stakeholders and I need to talk about the project. I'm always sure to have the timeline with the key points I want to come out, to be pop out, because like that I know that when I have that meeting I need to talk of when the decision was taken, I need to talk about the go no-go decision, and I need to talk about the date that is here. So it really helps me in communicating, and we know that project management, an important task, if not the most important, it's to have a good communication with the teams working, with the subcontractors, with the vendors, suppliers, and of course with the owners and all the stakeholders around the project. So this said, we now have those different elements, and I hope that you can practice at the same time. If not, be aware that those videos, they will be online, they will complement the ones that exist already into my channel. Now, I think it's time to move ahead a bit with this project, and I will switch to that part here that I had already, and I will pick in some of the tasks. I will copy those tasks and have them added to my project here. So I have directly here added tasks. You see that they all came in as manual tasks, and for this there is one point that I need to tell you. It's that here down you see that you could choose between auto schedule or manually scheduled, and this is valid from now on for all the tasks you are going to insert into the project. Okay, so allow me to do the following, to remove those tasks. Yeah, they are removed. I will now go down here, select auto schedule, and we'll see if something different happens. Yes, something different happened, but not what I expected. I will just remove that task. So I will come here up. Yes, something happened that wasn't expected for me. So I will delete the task which is here. And I will go back and select my tasks here. Okay, that time it worked. And you see also that they all became automatic at once. So this is interesting. So this part is what we will call conception. So it's really the design of the building. And for that, you see here, I'm going to insert a task. And this task I'm going to insert, I'm going to name it conception. Okay? So conception is composed of all those tasks. That is to say that first there is a decision, which is we are here under conception taking the point of view of an architect office. So we as architect office, and I greet here all the engineers, architect, superintendent into workplace, building place, all those people. Hello, hi, I'm in Geneva, where are you? So anyway, so for this, you might also be students. There are many students following my tutorials, so hi, I like to exchange. So what I want to say is that we are now the architect office, and we make the first decision, which is to participate to the proposal. So we are going to make a proposition, and first we take the decision for making that proposition. So this is our first task. Once we've decided, of course, that we'll prepare the proposition. So it's when we do all the drawings, we do even simulations of the building. We have our engineers calculating the structures. We define the elements and all that. So once this is done, we've prepared the proposal. We perform the design, and we make it simple in this project. We are the one that were chosen. So we don't enter into all the tendering process and processes that go with this, but we admit that that architecture office is the one that has been chosen. So we are at the point where the plans are ready, the sketches, the blueprints are ready. So now we need to find a constructor to build that building. So for this we develop the construction RFP, because we'll go again through tender processing, and we will issue that RFP. So these are the activities that I have here inside, and all those activities here from number 9 to number 13, they are part of what we call conception. So as we did with the previous part, we go now up into the task part, and we have here the possibility to say that this is all part of conception by indenting it within conception. And we see here that we have all those tasks within conception. To check it, once again, the small triangle before the word conception, you open, you close it, and then it appears. So we have here all the different elements that are present. I see there is just one thing that is a bit bothering me. It's issue construction request for proposal 40 days. Let me just check if this was really what I had. Yes. Okay. Okay, that's one way to show it. I thought it was more a date to place. It's a date that we want to have. Okay, so let's now admit that we have all that. So once again, all those tasks here are sequential. So I will select them now, and I will come here up and say that here, this is a sequence. So I have all the tasks here coming one after the other one. And how can I see the complete project? If you followed from the beginning, sure, you can answer, and you're going to say, you go into View, and there is the button Entire Project. So I'm going to click Entire Project, and you see that, yes, we have here the view of the entire project. So this is the part we see now. So we have initiation, we have conception. So we will agree that the conception, the earliest start possible, it's when we have issued the design RFP. So for this, it's that I would like to see that date coming here following this, you see. So for that, I think you got it. We take the task number 9, decision to present design, and we can go and select the predecessor. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going here now to go into information by double clicking on the task. And you see that here inside there is also the possibility on the tab of predecessors to come in and to select a predecessor. And I can come here and I can simply here insert the ID of the predecessor, simply saying it's the number 6. You will see it went by itself, I mean MS Project, to look into the tasks names, and it found out that it was issue design RFP, which is correct. And you see here it's telling me the kind of relation those two tasks will have. This is a finish to start relation, shortened to FS. This, we could change it. There are different relations, but we are not going to enter now into that introductory lesson on how to change this. But it is one way to show you that there are those possibilities. Another thing that you can add here, it's if in a relation you want a certain lag, you could add it. But I'm not going to use this, I'm going to keep it really simple. So I'm saying okay to that. And with this, once again, we want to see the complete project. So I go into View, Entire Project, and now I can see the sequence, and you see the waterfall representation of the Gantt chart we have here. So with that, we've done now the conception part. So we see that we have already two of the big stages. The first, initiation, it's where the owner is mainly involved. And then the conception, it's more the architect office and engineering office which are involved in that part. If now I want to shorten this, I can make it disappear. So can I also here up? Oh, this shows me that I made a mistake. Okay, this is good because I wasn't seeing it. So I will do it again. So I thought that conception was at the same level as initiation. And when I clicked here, you see that conception disappeared. It's excellent because it's a mistake. But of course, I'm still learning. I'm still learning certain things with MS Project. So it means that conception has been set under initiation, which is not right. We have initiation first, and then we have conception. Okay? So it means all this is one level too low. So by selecting here conception directly and only conception, I will go into task, you see, and I'm doing the opposite operation. I'm pulling it up one level, I outdent, and we'll see what happens. And you see that all the tasks below were also outdented one level. So this is good because you see in this way how you can resolve when you have certain mistakes. And what I wanted now to see, it's let's check from this point. Here I come into conception, yes, conception stays. This was the case till now, and yes, so we have initiation, conception, and this you will find it in any kind of project. There is a first stage which is initiation, and after there is a certain conception. So I will now reopen those elements. And what I would like now is to turn back to the timeline, because on the timeline I would like to be able to see the conception stage. So you already know, it's simple. We go and we right click on the task, and here down we go into add to timeline. And you see that the timeline has shortened or spanned over more time, and we find here now conception. And conception, I'm willing to change its color by filling here with another color, and I propose that clear pink or dark pink as a color for conception. So this I will rearrange, it can now come correctly here, and we see that we have the initiation phase and we have here the conception. So the conception is done. So once again, I welcome all the people that participate. For me, it's a pleasure to have that session online. If there are remarks, questions, they are welcome. You can simply jump into the chat. And now we've moved to the conception, and now we are going to move ahead into the construction. I have here to admit that we are not defining the planning phase. This is right. In any construction project, there is an intense planning phase that starts as soon as you start the initiation. There are already some planning activities. I'm going to extend this in further sessions, but planning is so important into construction that I want to dedicate a special session just to the planning part. So, with that now, we are going to enter into the construction. I'm not going to detail the construction, because what I'm giving here is an overall overview. You had already many elements that were preparatory to the construction. We'll have special session just on the construction part. So I will now once again move to the one I already created, and I will copy all the tasks from the construction. And I will paste them here inside. So we have all those cells and activities that have now come and are present here on our diagram. And once again, you see that they are defined. I had already defined their duration. You see here one that is a bit different here on the activity number 21. You see that this activity is lasting 12 months, and the abbreviation of months, you don't have to calculate it in days. You can simply key in 12 months, MONS, and MS Project will understand this. So once I've done that, so here we are in the following situation. We are a constructor that time. So if you want, I want now to go to resources, and you see now that I have a lot of predefined views that are there. I move to the resource sheet, and here I'm just creating a resource which is the constructor. That constructor answered to the request for proposal and has taken the decision to answer the request for proposal. So it's its first task, decision to present construction proposal, and then after, the constructor, its organization, is preparing everything for the construction proposal. Once the owner has received all the construction proposal, or it could be also a situation where it's the architect office that receives those proposals and evaluates them. It can also be that the architect is making the decision as which constructor to work with, or those things could be made by the owner. Those are different contexts, those are different possibilities, there are different combinations that you find. It will mainly depend on the owner, then it will also depend on the complexity of the construction, the complexity of the project. So, in our case, the proposals were evaluated by the owner, and here that constructor got the project. So it's a big win for that constructor because he won the deal for creating that building, making that building, but now comes the challenge of the project. So we are simply staying at that level, so they did this, so the contractor is on board, this is a decision that the owner made, and then after there is the stage of procurement for the contractor, where he needs to order and get all the material all the different resources he needs, and then after they can perform the construction. It's simple, big steps that are here just to help us understand how to use MS Project, how to have an introductory class on MS Project. To those that are watching, thank you for being watching. For me it's a pleasure, and I have people that I greet because they might be looking from France, Switzerland, Germany, UK, which are the people with whom I do one-on-one classes, and they will recognize themselves. And it's really interesting. It's a really way to learn really fast MS Project. In a few sessions you learn, and it's also a quick way and a good way to learn project management. The reason I'm saying this is that I've worked in many different fields, and people appreciate to be able to discuss with me certain of their issues. I even have people which are in charge of PMOs, Project Management Office, which are running portfolios, that contact me and ask from me some advice, or I help them put in place their project management office. So, thank you to all that are watching. It's a real pleasure to be able to see how many people are following. And now I've discussed here and described the steps of the construction. So I would like to gather all this under the construction step. So I'm going here to define this as construction here. And I'm going to say that all those tasks here, they are part of construction. For this I go up into task, I ident everything, and I know that I've made the mistake previously, and apparently construction is part of conception. To check it, I remove conception here. Yeah, I knew. I was caught once, it's good. I'm not caught the second time. So what I will do, so you know the trick. Yeah, you've done it with me before. So it's just that we are not going to outdent the task. So what I need to tell you is that construction in general in MS Project, it's what we call a summary task. And the summary task is summarizing all what is below or depending on it. You see, we have all those tasks that are part of construction. And if I close now construction, you see that it is telling me that construction is lasting 240 days and that it will start on the 23rd, which is wrong, and finish by the 24th of May next year, which is also wrong. So what is it that is wrong? What is it that doesn't suit me? It's that, well, we've set that project here, but that project is here, not placed at the right position. It should follow conception. So we know that to do that, we are going to say that the first task here, decision to present construction proposal, should follow when we've issued the RFP for the construction. RFP, request for proposal. So to do that, I'm simply coming here and I'm going to say that the predecessor of this task is the task here, 13. I'm going to do it that way, and we'll see what happens. So the task was moved, you see, it's correctly moved, but all the others, they stayed. Why? Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are moved because there are no links, of course. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that all those tasks, all those tasks here, they are linked together. So I'm coming here up, I'm going to the link, and I'm going to say all those tasks are linked together. So they disappeared from where they were. Let's hope it's a good sign. I think so, but let's hope. And you see that on the timeline something has moved. We see a huge white space here, and here we've contracted everything. Could be right. Could be right, and I'm telling you it is right. So I'm going now to go again into view. You see here up, and now I'm saying here I want to see the entire project. So this starts to look a bit like what we wanted. We have here initiation, we have conception, and here we have the construction work. So we are having with that our first diagram. It starts to look a bit like what we had before. I would say it's even quite similar to what I presented as introduction. I don't know how it looks into what you are doing currently, but it should look like something similar to what I have here. And one thing that I would like to do now is to be able to say that construction, I would like to see it also on the timeline. So I'm coming here into construction, and I'm simply going to add it to the timeline. So we see here the construction. I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to take a bit something that is a bit more yellow. Like that, we have a good identification of the different stages. Initiation, which is here, conception, we see it here, and here we have construction. So I would like to have this shine into the diagram. On the timeline, I mean, I would like to see on the timeline when is the handover of the building. That is to say, construction is done, the owner can really get its building. So I'm going to add this to the timeline. I'm double clicking on it to make it in a different way. I go into general here, and I'm saying display on timeline. We are going to see, yes, it came. It's on top here up, and I'm also adding it bold and into colors. With that, we have handover of the building, and here maybe I will also add to the timeline one point that is interesting for me. It's when did that constructor decide to respond to the request of for proposal. Like that, I have that date that is also placed into the diagram. Of course, if you want to have anything else, you can now start and do it and try it and learn how to do it that way. With that, we have now a diagram. We've keyed in the Gantt chart, we keyed in all the activities, we had estimations of the duration, but of course we didn't enter into how did I estimate those duration. You might be saying, oh no, this is not at all possible, or we can do it shorter, or there are certain things that could be done in parallel and be faster. You are right, you are absolutely right. My idea was to present you once something like that, in which you can see how you can do a first planning for a project with an example of the construction industry. Now, if your project, you don't want to have it start right now, you can come into project here and you will see move the project. So you can here define any date for the project. And let's admit that we want to move our project maybe to the 1st of July. And we'll see what happens. And we see that the project was slightly moved. This is interesting because it also means that at one point you can have like a template for new projects. There is a project that you did, like that one, and you have a new project coming that is similar. You are going now to enter into a new project of a building, but you are absolutely going to follow those steps. Some maybe will fall, some maybe will be added, there will be other activities, but at least you have a base on which you can work, and you see that with that possibility to move the start of the project, you can really move the project where you want and adapt it in an easy way. So with that, I think that I brought you quite a lot of information on what you can do with MS Project. I hope that those information were useful to you, which I think. For me, it's always a pleasure to be here online and being able to share this with all the people watching. And questions, they will be welcome. I'm Christian from Vision 6D. I have already many videos training for MS Project, project management, agile methodologies, which are online. And with that, once again, if you want to have a session with me, do not hesitate. Of course, those sessions, they are not free, but it's really an efficient way to learn MS Project, to learn project management, to learn Kanban. I can help you in introducing new methodologies like Kanban, Scrum, Ban into your organization. So just drop me questions and I'm ready to answer them. I have people from several countries doing this with me, and I must say that it's really an enjoyable moment where we share. It's for you, you can learn, and I'm providing you my experience that you can get quickly through the steps. There are mistakes I made, I learned from them, and I can avoid you to make those mistakes. So I wish you a great time. Enjoy your project management, enjoy MS Project, be curious, learn, innovate and create. I'm Christian and I wish you a great day. Bye-bye.